Thank you for being here tonight at Citizen Climate Lobby Canada's Power Hour. We've been running them every Wednesday night from October 2nd to tonight, December 18th, the last night. We've just had our introductions and we will review the Canadian website. Then we will look at the volunteer handbook. I'll show you some of our metrics. I'll talk a little bit about the pollution pricing policy, and then we will recap upcoming events. So please stop me if you do not see the home page of Citizen Climate Lobby Canada's website. So I like to show it because a lot of people actually don't know about it. But on the home page of our website, it's constantly changing and there's always resources there. So first of all, our solution to climate change is democracy, and we need you on our team. So thank you for being here tonight. This is us in 2018. After about 900 times lobbying for your carbon dividend check, we were finding out that the government of Canada was going to put a price on pollution and rebate back to citizens. And we were thrilled because we had spent a lot of our time volunteering to get you all your rebate check. And we were excited. So this is us. And yeah, so that Canada carbon rebate check you get, that is not a Liberal policy. That is not a Green Party policy. That is actually the Citizen Climate Lobby Canada's policy. And we presented our parliamentarians with piles upon piles of evidence-based materials about the efficacy of this policy and the fairness of it. And we were thrilled that they chose it. So that's a little bit about our story, and I'll keep circling back into our story. So in the middle bar, usually what we have are upcoming events. So we have a call in January on district energy. So in Ontario, the number one source of greenhouse gas pollution comes from buildings, and it's the number two source in all of Canada. And we could be heating our homes and cooling our homes and heating and cooling our buildings if we built district energy. That means these underground pipes that would heat and cool buildings. All very easy. It's a very much a circular economy thing and would require very little energy, especially compared to electricity to or fossil fuels to heat and cool our homes. So this is something we're very excited about. And of course, a price on pollution that is predictable will actually catalyze this building of district energy even faster. But there are other policies that will need to be created to accelerate the development of district energy within Canada. Anyways, we'll be going into lots of details and getting super excited with the Boltzmann Institute about building district energy within Canada. We're taking a 5-week break from these introductory calls that we've been having. Right now, they're called the Power Hour. We're rebranding them to the Changemakers Hour. And yes, throughout the January, February, March, and April, these calls will be changing and evolving. We'll be announcing more things, providing you with more tools. So if you attend once a month, you'll keep catching up on what we're doing. As well, we're going to Ottawa for the 25th time to lobby our own parliamentarians and have a conference. We usually go 2 or 3 times a year, and we've been around for almost 15 years. And our conference this year is called the People's Ministry of the Future. So those are our upcoming events. You can always find them on the homepage of our website at canada.citizensclimatelobby.org. So as well, there's all the other things that happen on the homepage of our website. Since September 2010, we have provided our volunteers with monthly education and action sheets. So this past month, we had a phone zap, and we phoned our parliamentarians and asked them to support a private member's bill that would regulate fossil fuel ads. And if you click on this, you can see the details of the actions, and we go over these actions on monthly calls, not this call. If you sign up for our leaders call, we can you get tuned into them, or you can read these on your own. And we go through what the actions are and what the laser talks are. So for example, here's one of our laser talks. Every month we give short talking points on climate change and various related issues to it. And we took a good hard look at the trends in recent provincial elections in Canada, and we uncovered what we think were four noticeable trends. In the autumn of 2024, four provinces in Canada had elections. And the key trends were as follows. Provincial parties that use the axe the tax disinformation rhetoric saw a decline in support, particularly in urban areas. So if you look at the maps of Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and British Columbia, yeah, that was pretty obvious. Provincial parties that removed revenue neutrality and reduced means testing for their pollution pricing rebates lost votes, especially in rural areas. So BC used to give everybody the same rebate, and then they changed it and they lost, and then correlatively, not cause and effect, they appear to have lost a lot of votes in rural areas of British Columbia. Interestingly, though, provincial conservative parties that distanced themselves from the Axe the Tax disinformation campaign fared well. And that was Nova Scotia, and they won a supermajority in their recent election. So, what we can also note is that a clear rural urban divide exists, with rural ridings leaning conservative. So this rural urban divide is what is we feel is fueled by several factors, including the decline of accountable media, that's newspapers, radio, TV, which is especially pronounced outside the big urban centers, and you can dig down below because we provide that data. And this is combined with the spread of disinformation about pollution pricing on unaccountable social media platforms, which deepens the divide. Adding to this is, and I live in a a smaller community, that we often feel that our voices are being overlooked. So that's a typical thing that are given every month. Volunteers are given actions, they're given some talking points, things that are really current, and we learn and row together. And if you want to join us and you want to join our leaders call and get these action sheets every month, you are welcome to do so. Here's a video about just that we made about just a short video that was a commercial 8 years ago, and we're in the process of making commercials. And then along the bottom are always these latest news that we're pushing out. Lastly, we have here a volunteer handbook and what we call our laser talk booklets as well. And so you can always find tons of information just on the homepage of our website. And then if you want, you can dig deeper by going into this toolbar up here. So any questions about the homepage of our website? All right, seems like a no. So I'm going to just show you our volunteer handbook. So this is our volunteer handbook. It is it's a labor of love. These are our volunteers in Calgary at tabling at an event in October. And if you go through our volunteer handbook, you can click on the underlined words to find out more. I am not going to go through this in detail, but if you join us, after a couple months, you start getting the knack of what we're about and how we're working. We also do provide a much deeper level of training. It's about 1.5 hours long, and then by about 6 months, you become totally familiar with how we work. So I will quickly go through this. We are part of a large network, and our founder, Marshall Saunders, he felt that what is needed is thousands of ordinary people organized, lobbying with one voice, one message, and lobbying a relentless, unstoppable, yet friendly and respectful way. And we know this works because we got that price on pollution with rebates. And now the only reason we're losing it is because of a massive disinformation campaign. But if we focus locally and not try to think of running a big campaign and just become trusted messengers, and you're surrounded by people who love and care for you as you do this work, we can do this. There are 3,000 communities in Canada and 300 and what is it, 36 ridings across Canada federally. We just got to keep working at it and keep building that political will. So Marshall Saunders, um, he he had this vision, and we are all over the world, and it's just been amazing. So yes, our solution to climate change is democracy. We get right in there and do things. This is us on Parliament Hill. This is one of our events. We built a giant dream catcher, and this is a member of Parliament, MP Carol Hughes for Algoma to Miss Algoma Manitoulin, smudging right before we built the giant dream catcher. And we have a real impact. In 2018, we made history. We got what we lobbied for. It's very rare that citizens get what they lobbied for, but we lobbied 939 times for that dividend check that you're all receiving between 2010 and 2018. Like, that check is because we worked really hard to make that happen. And that legislation can be found in the Greenhouse Gas Pollution Pricing Act. Um, and many thanks to all the citizens who made that happen. And why carbon pricing? Because when it's free to pollute, there's no incentive to stop polluting. And carbon pricing puts a price on pollution, reflecting the damage that each ton of pollution causes us. This is charged to fossil fuel companies when they pollute our air. Since most companies like saving money, they will change their behavior to avoid the carbon fee, driving clean energy innovation and technology. If companies can't or won't change their behavior, they'll have to charge a higher price for their products. This encourages consumers to switch to low pollution alternatives. And the higher that price, the stronger the pressure. Going up incrementally gives companies and households time to adjust. And that's exactly what's been happening since 2008. And the best part is, since all funds collected are returned directly to citizens, except for in Quebec's and um, uh, the consumers with no available or affordable low pollution alternatives are still protected from rising costs. So the stronger the price, the greater the pressure, the faster the system will change. And that is why fossil fuel companies and Vladimir Putin and their buddies, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and even some Canadian politicians are spreading lies about it because it will transform our system, and it will actually reduce income inequality as well. But we won't get into that. So that's why we support carbon pricing. At Citizens Climate Lobby, we also occupy a unique niche within the environment movement. We are one of the few groups in Canada currently providing everyday citizens with the tools to directly lobby their representatives in government. And we have prepared people almost 3,000 times now. And I have prepared people all over the world. Our methodology works. Our goal is to create the political will for a livable world by helping individuals realize their personal and political power. We know our method of change works because we've seen it. And with the successful adoption of our preferred carbon pricing policy here at home, we now focus on training and supporting volunteers for improvements to the Greenhouse Gas Pollution Pricing Act, like we begged the government practically to get that out of the income tax and start giving dividends either through bank accounts or checks. They did that. They changed the name. We've been pressuring them. We're pushing them to do a lot more advertising about it. So that's some of the things that we're pushing on. We're also looking very closely at carbon border adjustment mechanism legislation, and we're listening very closely to the experts on where Canada and should be going with this. We're supporting the regulation of fossil fuel advertising. Canada just introduced its clean electricity regulations, and yes, we've been lobbying for that for the last 4 years. They're obviously not strong enough, but at least we now have some. Currently, we're also lobbying for aligning our financial system with the climate, and also we've been lobbying for cap on emissions. So you don't lobby for all those all at once. You pick which policy you think your MP, because you focus in on your own member of parliament, would most likely respond to, and what you're most interested in as well, and then you just go lobby them for that. And we train and support you in that. We also provide educational materials on a variety of climate related topics like demystifying our country's carbon pricing policy in the face of rising misinformation. And again, we've been meeting monthly with volunteers and providing them with actions since 2010. If you do our training, we take a deep dive into our values. They're so beautiful. They still guide me to this day. Every month you get 2 or 3 novel actions to do. They are pulling on the 5 levers of political will. We don't lobby every month, just 2 or 3 months out of the year, but we also support you not only in lobbying, but in media relations, grassroots outreach, grass tops engagement, that means engaging with community leaders, and chapter and volunteer development. So we give you all sorts of training and support as you do this, and it's all free. And you can read the manual to find out more about that as well. Getting near the end now, and you have all been so amazing. We track what we do. We've been tracking everything we do. That's why I can say we lobbied 930 times for your dividend check, because our volunteers track their actions. And when you sign up for Citizens Climate Lobby, you get access to this. And you can follow that by, you have to be a member though. You follow it by clicking on this link, and then you can go to the website. And then why? Do it because this pressures politicians, and it helps your chapter track progress, and it motivates all of us to continue building the political will. And I'll show you some of our recent data shortly. And and we teach you and support you in doing this, and then how to do this. And then we have all these national action teams. So if you're very comfortable on what you're doing locally, there's all sorts of national action teams that you can join as well. And yes, and imagine we do all this work with 2 part-time paid staff, which is just incredible. And we can do this because we are highly organized. There's a monthly rhythm to the work that we do, and we organize everything on our website, and we have lots of institutional wisdom amongst our volunteers to support and guide each other. So every month you get, our volunteers are on the leaders list, get new action sheets, and then they highlight the current national action, opportunities for team calls, as well as laser talks. And then we meet to discuss them on the Canada catch-up calls. And these are generally the second Thursday and Friday of each month. And all of that is organized, and we nudge you along. And we also have a national yearly rhythm where we have a planning session for March and January. So if you join our leaders list, you get to be part of that planning session. In February, March, we'll be doing our fundraising because our conference in Ottawa is going to cost us about $30,000. We've already fundraised for it, but we've got to keep the money ahead for the next couple of years. But we're all ready for that. We're probably going to do something with regards to the G7 because Canada is the president right now. And um, and then we kind of slow down in June, July, and August, as well as December. But we have to think a little bit more about working in the summer because there's an election. And then we do nonpartisan advocacy during the election. And then we'll be reviewing what happened in the election in November and December. And this is Cheryl McNamara. I met her online in April of 2010. And in September 2010, I said on Facebook, I said, hey, join this group that wants to help build political will for carbon pricing. And she said, I'll join you. And she's been with me on this journey, along with many others since that time. And here's a quote from Cheryl. Citizens Climate Lobby has taught me one powerful lesson. A small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can indeed change the world. There's our socials. And I just wanted to show you, these are our metrics. For the first time ever, we've had paid staff this year in 2024. And these are not our final metrics, but everything is up. Our lobbying is up. Our media publications is up. Our contacts with legislatures is up. Those are phone calls and letters and communications. Our outreach is up. Our going to town halls and meeting our MPs is up. Our grass tops outreach is up. And just everything is up. It's just been amazing. Again, this is a reminder that we're going to have a very exciting call with the Boltzmann Institute on Tuesday, January 21st. And we will have our Change Makers Hours starting in January 22nd to replace this Power Hour call. And we are getting ready to, to go to Ottawa for the 25th time as a collective to build political will for a livable world at our conference, the People's Ministry of the Future. So that's it.